We lost my brother Pablo while we were filming Seven. Made for a very hard time to finish filming that movie.
When a famous person passes away, millions of people across the globe mourn for them. This includes fans and practically everyone who knew the public figure. Now, while you might feel particularly heartbroken by the passing of your favorite actors or actresses, imagine the incomparable pain felt by their co-stars who were actually part of their lives for a considerable amount of time. Today, we're listing down a few actors who were never the same after the passing of their co-star. But before that, a simple reminder on how to enter our brand new giveaway. We will be giving away either an iPhone X Max, the new iPad mini, or a MacBook Pro. It's all your choice. So be sure to leave a like, comment the keyword, subscribe, and turn on notifications to enter the giveaway. It's really that simple. First on our list is KALEY CUOCO. Before being known as the street-smart Penny who was able to befriend the gang of geniuses in The Big Bang Theory, KALEY played the role of Beach Hennessy, the beautiful but ditzy eldest child of Paul, played by John Ritter in the 2002 sitcom 8 Simple Rules for Dating My Teenage Daughter. During the taping of the series' second season, Ritter fell ill. He was actually rushed to a nearby hospital, and the master comedian was reportedly misdiagnosed, and it ultimately caused his untimely demise at 54 years old. Even though they weren't really related, KALEY was devastated by the death of her on-screen father and admitted that she still thinks about him all the time. As a result of his death, 8 Simple Rules went on a short hiatus and then returned with the incorporation of the comedian's death. 25 years later, CUOCO revealed that there isn't a day that goes by when memories of John make her laugh and tear up at the same time. In fact, her Big Bang Theory co-star Jim Parsons even said that he has never seen KALEY talk about John without tearing up. Next is Betty White. Bea Arthur and Betty White had their fair share of rumored feuds while working together for the sitcom The Golden Girls, which featured a group of older women living together. All of these fights were more about artistic differences. While Bea was a child of the stage, Betty was the darling of television. We soon learned that their feuds were really nothing personal after Betty White shed tears for her co-actress when Arthur died way back in 2009. Quote, "I knew it would hurt, I just didn't know it would hurt this much," Betty White said. Clearly, whatever their differences were, the two veteran actresses had a lot of respect for each other. Speaking of comedic duos, Harold Ramis and Bill Murray were an unstoppable force during their time. They were so famous that it seemed like they had the golden touch. Sadly, this friendship did not last as long as we had hoped. Ramis and Murray had a serious falling out while working on the film Groundhog Day. It was so serious that the two actors did not speak to each other for about 2 decades after the movie hit the theaters. But in some interviews, Ramis would admit that he missed Murray and hoped they could be friends again. For the longest time, it looked like everything was over for the two. It wasn't until over 20 years later that Ramis was on his deathbed that the two finally spoke once more. Bill's brother convinced him to visit Harold upon learning about his condition, and luckily the two reconciled just before Ramis's death, and Bill was one of those who deeply mourned for his dear old friend. Next is Larry David. Even before the Game of Thrones, HBO is known for some of their long-running shows. One show in particular, Curb Your Enthusiasm, came to a halt. Not because it was no longer wanted by the network officials or the audience, but because of the death of the actor who plays the beloved Marty Funkhauser, Bob Einstein. The comedy show about the life of Larry David cast Bob to play the recurring role of one of Larry's oldest friends after the success of Super Dave Osborne. However, in January of 2019, Einstein succumbed to cancer at the age of 76. As expected, Einstein's passing shocked and devastated the cast, but no one was more miserable than Larry himself, who kept admiring his friend for the perfect portrayal of Marty. Despite his demise, the Curb's showrunners will not be bringing up Einstein's death in the show. Jeff Garlin says that's because they cannot show melancholy in a sitcom. This means that in the make-believe world of Larry David, Marty Funkhauser is alive and well, but there's a good chance that they will pay tribute to the comedian in some other way. Starting off his acting career at just 11 years old, Daniel Radcliffe pretty much grew up under the spotlight, most especially since he got his life-changing role of J.K. Rowling's Harry Potter, which kicked off in 2001. Because of this early start, most of his colleagues regarded him as a child, and not as his workmate. Ironically, Alan Rickman, the actor who plays Severus Snape, was the first exception to this unspoken rule. That's why when Rickman passed about 4 years ago, Radcliffe was one of those who sang the most praises for the 69-year-old British actor. Daniel says Rickman was undoubtedly one of the greatest actors he will ever work with, and he had supported Daniel in his entire acting career. In fact, Radcliffe admitted that he wouldn't be the actor he is today without the guidance of Rickman himself. Well done, Snape. Next, we have fans of Riverdale and Beverly Hills 90210, which will never forget the date of March 4th, 2019, or the day that the actor Luke Perry passed after having a stroke. One person mourned more than the rest of us, and that's none other than Luke's co-star and longtime love interest, Shannon Doherty. Doherty says that Perry was with her through thick and thin, and even supported her while she was fighting cancer. Doherty originally did not intend to go back when the 90210 remake was initially announced, because for the actress, the show no longer really needed her. But after Perry's death, she changed her mind. Shannon decided to return to their classic series to honor the life and legacy of her on-screen partner. Another passing that shocked the public was the sudden passing of Disney Channel star Cameron Boyce, who left us way too early at the age of 20. According to his family, Cameron passed away in his sleep due to a seizure, which was a result of a medical condition. Despite his young age, Boyce was considered to be a veteran actor, having started his acting career at 9 for the horror film Mirrors. He was then working on for the Disney Channel series Descendants. His untimely passing felt like a bucket of ice was splashed over the faces of his co-stars, who were about the same age. And one person who truly felt heartbroken was Dove Cameron, who played Mal. She considered Boyce as a close friend, and said that his death reminded everyone just how precious life is. That's why after his passing, the Descendants cast members put more effort on being there for each other. To top it all off, Dove also had a tattoo made as a tribute for her dear friend. She had a flower coming out of a gun, which is an international symbol for peace, to forever remember him. The reason for this was that before his passing, Boyce was working on an anti-gun violence organization, showing how much he wanted to achieve peace on Earth. Next on our list is Glee star Lea Michele, who kept on acting even after the passing of her off- and on-screen partner, Corey Monteith. Lea explained that acting helped her cope with the death of her lover, who lost the battle with addiction in 2013. The actress also went on the Ellen DeGeneres show and said that there is some sort of empowerment that comes with grief, and at some point you will find it, no matter how hard it is to find.
Grief goes with you every day, whatever you're doing, when there's great moments, when there's hard moments. So I'd rather be at work with the people that I love.
So that's what she's been doing ever since. Lea says that acting is her way of doing what's best for Corey, thinking that returning to their craft would be what he would have wanted her to do. To prove her love for the actor, Lea Michele also got a tattoo that says Finn on her thigh, and despite her schedule, she makes it a point to pay tribute to Corey every year to make sure that no one forgets about him, and of course, we never will. Moving on to another passing that shook an entire generation, the death of Carrie Fisher. Together with Mark Hamill as Luke Skywalker, Carrie Fisher as Princess Leia undoubtedly inspired an era of science fiction thanks to the Star Wars franchise. With the classic franchise pulled out of the shelves and back to the theaters in 2015, scores of fans were thrilled to see her return as beloved Skywalker siblings along with the rest of the characters, old and new. But what could have been a much longer run was cut short by the passing of Carrie Fisher in December of 2016, and it seemed as if Mark Hamill's enthusiasm for the remaining films died along with her. Hamill told ABC News in 2018 that Star Wars just wasn't the same without Leia, but still said that he was grateful for the years he spent with her as one of his most cherished friends. But we did see Fisher appear in the finale of the Skywalker saga through archive footage in The Rise of Skywalker, while Hamill made one last cameo to the end of a more 40-year run of the beloved franchise.
We were in the hotel room in London. I didn't notice it. It was sort of an expressionistic painting.
Right.
There's a little figure with two
buns.
And I thought, she's been looking over at me the whole time.
Yeah.
It also looks like it wasn't just Mark Hamill who mourned for the death of Fisher, because as you know, actress Debbie Reynolds, Fisher's mother, passed just one day later. DEBRA from Will and Grace says that Reynolds will always be remembered as one of the bold characters with a presence so great that she could fill the air with laughter with just her own antics. She was always off doing one-woman shows each day of the year, sources say. It's no secret that DEBRA always held Debbie with a high regard and believed that a tribute to Reynolds is a must for at least one episode of the revival of their iconic show. That's why the writers created one episode about Grace wanting her father to keep their childhood home instead of selling it, because of the hundreds of memories she has there with her mother. Even up to now, DEBRA can be seen occasionally reminiscing her moments with Debbie, and from that alone, it's pretty clear that DEBRA will never ever forget the time she spent with her on-screen mother. Up next is Batman defending the Joker. We all know that Heath Ledger perfectly portrayed Joker in The Dark Knight, so much so that people thought his obsession with a psychopathic clown actually caused his passing. And because of this, Christian Bale, the man who played Batman in that film, quickly came to his fallen co-actor's defense and said that instead of flinging rumors after rumors on Ledger's passing, we should just view his final work on The Dark Knight as a celebration of his life. Thankfully, his wish was granted, and Heath Ledger was posthumously awarded an Oscar for his superb take on the role.
And the Oscar goes to Heath Ledger in The Dark Knight.
And finally, we have Vin Diesel mourning the loss of his pal, Paul Walker. Of course, we were all shocked as the Fast and Furious actor passed away in a car crash in 2013. On that day, we lost Brian O'Connor, or simply Paul Walker, the actor. But on that day, Vin Diesel lost his best friend. Upon learning about Walker's death, Diesel hurriedly visited Walker's mother, and together they shared the first few moments of their lives without the man they both loved. That's why, while they were filming the barbecue scene for the end of Fast and Furious 7, tough guy Diesel could not hold back his tears. knowing full well that his dear friend was no longer there. The actor admitted that this was the only time he allowed himself to feel weak, and sure enough, everyone understood. The entire cast and crew also made sure to pay homage to Walker throughout the film, finished the production with the help of Paul's brother, and ended the story with a tribute to their beloved friend. We just know that Fast and Furious will never be the same again. So, as you can see, the passing of loved ones and co-stars hits everyone hard. If you need help or someone to talk to, go to betterhealth.com. We send our love and respects to these families as well as every other single family out there affected by someone's passing. This video should be used as inspiration and a reminder to hold your loved ones close and cherish your time together.